Tonight on NAIT NewsWatch.
Controversy arises over requests to develop a different sex education curriculum.
You have a responsibility when you're an educator to be in that classroom to give your students correct information.
Health officials remind even students to get their flu shots this year.
Doesn't matter what age group you are, when you get the flu, you get the flu.
And food that doesn't make it to your table is going to a good cause.
In the kitchens, we see a lot of waste, and I think this connection with Global Shapers and Leftovers sheds light on that.
NewsWatch starts now.
Good evening. Alberta Education is in the process of revising their curriculum, which includes sex and health education. However, the Catholic School Board wants to implement their own curriculum.
This proposal has stirred up some controversy across the city. Our Chelsea Hudima joins us live from the South Lobby with more on that story.
Thanks, guys. While this topic is slightly controversial, I was able to get a variety of strong opinions from the Minister of Education, a Catholic School Board trustee, and a student.
I'm not an overly religious person myself, never really have been.
Alan Holmes is a NAIT radio student. While he didn't attend a Catholic school, Holmes is openly gay, and the recent curriculum controversy has him speaking up.
Regardless of what your views are on sex is what it is, and there are scientific facts about what's healthy and safe and what's not.
It's not only the students who are vocal, educators such as Dr. Christina Stasia are also speaking up. She says the proposed plan is shame-based and unethical.
You have a responsibility when you're an educator to be in that classroom to give your students correct information, to equip them to navigate their worlds. And when you're talking about curriculum or sex and health education, you have a responsibility to ensure that you're giving those students scientifically accurate information that allows them to make healthy, informed decisions about their sexuality.
Along with teaching against contraception and homosexuality, Stasia says one of the biggest concerns is none of the curriculum is tied to evidence or based on science or health research. After reaching out to a number of Catholic School Board trustees, some declined comment, while trustee Patricia Grell did speak to us off camera. While not completely agreeing with the NDP government's across-the-board curriculum, she said there is a middle ground.
I believe in the curriculum being based in science and based upon what is best for the students, not so much what's based on religion.
In a government release this week, Education Minister David Eggen didn't mince words on any changes to the curriculum, stating that accurate information for students is not problematic and that any changes in sex education will be inclusive of all students, regardless of gender identity or orientation. While this is still in the works, David Eggen did make it very clear that they approach all suggestions in good faith, but this submission was never given serious consideration and no funding has been provided.
Chelsea, can you give us a breakdown of the current Alberta sexual education program?
Yeah, from kindergarten to grade 9, it's called Health and Life Skills, where they focus mostly on sexual development. In high school, it's called Career and Life Management, where they focus more on relationships and responsible sexual behavior.
Chelsea, do you know what stage this proposal is currently in?
Yes, so the Catholic School Board is currently working on a draft to submit for approval, and it should be ready in approximately 3 weeks.
Thanks, Chelsea. That's Chelsea Hudima reporting live from the South Lobby.
It's that time of year again where Alberta Health Services is urging Albertans 6 months and older to get their annual flu shot.
We're going to stay healthy, exactly.
AHS offers walk-in clinics for Albertans to get their free flu shot province-wide, including clinics here at NAIT. The NAIT clinic is open on both October 30th and 31st in the North Lobby at Main Campus. Health officials urge everyone to get their flu shot. Last year alone, there were 62 confirmed deaths caused by influenza, and more than 1,600 Albertans were hospitalized in 6 months.
We think that because your students, you're younger, that you're more resilient, that you can bounce back quicker. But it doesn't matter what age group you are, when you get the flu, you get the flu. And I think that's one of the big reasons.
Immunization allows your body to build immunity against certain diseases before you are exposed to them. This year, flu mist nasal spray will not be offered to Albertans. Canada's National Advisory Committee concludes that the injectable vaccine is equally as safe and effective as the nasal spray.
You're watching NAIT NewsWatch, the next generation of news.
Edmonton's newly elected mayor and council were sworn in on Tuesday. A group of Irish dancers, along with African drummers, entertained the crowd at the official swearing-in ceremony for the new mayor and council. Don Iveson won his second term with 72% of the vote, and Ward 4 councillor Aaron Paquette is Edmonton's first Indigenous councillor in 43 years.
It's here to be with you once again, to have the opportunity to serve as your mayor.
The ceremony followed with a brief inaugural meeting in the council chamber. In his speech, Iveson said the city's population may surpass 1 million in the coming term and called on his council members to work as a team to make Edmontonians proud.
Edmontonians looking to attend City Hall meetings will now be subject to an advanced security screening. The city increased security by implementing metal detectors. Anyone wishing to enter the council chambers must go through a detector beforehand. Edmontonians outside City Hall, while somewhat uninformed, weren't opposed to the idea.
I think if it's going to protect people from possibilities of violence, then it should be implemented, yeah.
Honestly, didn't know.
Good idea, bad idea, unnecessary, necessary?
No idea, honestly.
No. Uninformed.
I'm from the States, but in all of our city halls there, we do have metal detectors, so I actually don't think they're such a bad idea.
The metal detectors are set to be ready for use next month.
The old Walterdale Bridge in Edmonton is now under demolition after more than 100 years of service. The removal of the bridge started this past Monday. They started with removing the north truss by crane. Next, they will remove the south truss, followed by the center. Afterwards, crews will remove the concrete piers from the river. The steel belongs to the contractor, who is responsible for moving it off-site. Large pieces will be recycled and small parts will be salvaged for future projects. The rest of the demolition could take until the end of the year.
A historic first for Alberta took place this week during Women's History Month. Longtime human rights advocate Muriel Stanley Venn was honored this week when a provincial building in Edmonton was named after her. Stanley Venn has been a leader in First Nations and Métis communities for over 30 years. This is the first time a provincial building has been named for an Indigenous woman.
I'm so excited, I'm so happy, I'm so hopeful that things will really change for the Aboriginal women in this province.
The Muriel Stanley Venn Provincial Centre is currently being renovated to be a multi-purpose government centre, which will be complete come spring.
With the cold winter months quickly approaching, donated blankets are in high demand. Every October, the Edmonton Emergency Relief Service Society runs Blanket Alberta in Warmth, a campaign to get more blankets donated to their facility in preparation for the cold winter months ahead. Their services provide not only blankets for victims of disaster, but also for anyone who needs to stay warm.
Sometimes outside it's minus 40 and you're staying home and people staying outside. They can't stay without blankets. Whoever needs a blanket can have a blanket. It's like a simple thing.
Last year, the Society gave out more than 7,500 blankets. This year, their goal is to collect 8,000 blankets by the time the campaign ends on November 3rd.
A Calgary-based organization is teaming up with NAIT students to help reduce food waste. Saturday evening, several NAIT culinary students cooked meals using only ingredients that had been saved from restaurants and retailers. Leftovers is an organization that ensures food that would have otherwise been thrown away is eaten. Volunteers pick up the unused and unsold food from Edmonton retailers and bring it to participating services such as NAIT.
In the kitchens, we see a lot of waste, and I think this connection with Global Shapers and Leftovers sheds light on that. We graduate 100 students a year out into the industry, and I think they understand how Leftovers works and how they can continue to work with them as they move out into the community.
Every year, nearly 1/3 of food produced worldwide is wasted. While retailers and restaurants make up about 20% of food waste in Canada, 47% of food waste is a result of consumers not using everything they buy. Coming up after the break, students are training and pushing themselves to the limit with the EPS.
Individuals are getting the chance to work out with the EPS to see if they have what it takes to join the police force.
We come and give them a taster of what it's like to go ahead and work out to about a 60% range of what our classes would be.
Coming up in sports, we're going to learn a little bit about the legendary game of ping pong. Dude, I wasn't ready.
It's almost Halloween and temperatures are dropping. But don't put your fall jackets away just yet, since Edmonton is expected to stay cool and hopefully snow-free a little longer. I've got all that and more coming up in weather.
Entertainment brought to you by
NR92.
Escape reality with
movies you'll never see.
Anytime, anywhere.
Only on NR92.
The station for the students.
It's starting to get chilly out there. I really hope it doesn't start snowing soon, though.
Yeah, I'm definitely not ready for any snow just quite yet. Marianne, what's the weather looking like this weekend?
I have some good news for you guys. The weekend is going to be beautiful. Sunday being a little colder, but Saturday is going to be absolutely stunning. Now starting off in Calgary, there will be a high of 18 and a low of -3 on Saturday. Moving on to Jasper, the mountain's going to be mainly sunny with a high of 14 and a low of -4 on Saturday. And now up in Fort Mac, it's going to be mainly sunny with a high of 12, but there will be a 60% chance of precipitation, so make sure you have your umbrellas on you, with a low of 2 on Saturday. And now in the capital region, Edmonton, we're going to experience a beautiful high of 15 and a low of 2, which is some beautiful Edmonton weather coming our way this weekend. And for the averages at this time, it will be a low of 5 and a low of -4. And for the records for Edmonton on Saturday, it was a high of 22 that was set in 1953 and a low of -20 in 1925. Now, thankfully, we are far from that record low at all. Now, that's all I have for weather. Thanks for watching.
NewsWatch Weather is brought to you by NR92, the station for the students.
For some, being physically active is a way to stay healthy, but for police, it's a necessity.
Run with Recruiters gives anyone the chance to work out with the Edmonton Police Service to see if they have what it takes. Some post-secondary students in particular have shown keen interest. Our Michael Mancini reports.
Paul Ducharme, along with several other EPS officers, lead a group of keen individuals who may be interested in a career with the police force. Run with Recruiters is a strength and conditioning workout meant to compare your stamina and overall ability to that of a real police officer.
We come and give them a taster of what it's like to go ahead and work out to about a 60% range of what our classes would be.
This session isn't just for potential recruits. Brian Blatz, Robert Hendry, and San Song are currently studying police investigation at Graham MacEwan. They find the workouts helpful in balancing the stress of school and staying healthy.
We're done at 7 o'clock, our classes start at 8, and it builds a really nice routine, especially when you're getting up this morning. Like, we just did an hour of solid running, and we're all energized for class.
Students at Graham MacEwan have the opportunity to partake as the sessions are held there once a week. Although MacEwan has a police studies program, Ducharme says they're looking for recruits from any career background.
People come from all varieties. They're looking for people of all different trades, different occupations, or skill sets from educational backgrounds.
In the last 3 years, the numbers have more than tripled, averaging 15 to 18 participants in 2014 to over 60 in 2017. Next year, the EPS is looking to hire between 100 and 120 brand new officers. For NAIT NewsWatch, I'm Michael Mancini.
I hear hockey season is really getting back into full swing.
Yeah, but I haven't been to any games yet. What's going on in sports, Craig?
You bet. We got to see lots of hockey action, as well as a very exciting announcement. After almost 30 years, the Ukes and Golden Bears are working together to revive a legendary charity event at the Northlands Coliseum.
Fun here tonight, I'll tell you.
In 1984, the puck was dropped for the first time in a game between the Ukes and the U of A Golden Bears. Tickets sold and the stands filled up at the Coliseum, all in support of raising money for the Ronald McDonald House, Unfortunately, the tradition died out after the 7th game was played in 1991. Now, in 2017, the event has seen a highly anticipated comeback. A press conference was held this week announcing that once again, a game will be played between the two teams to raise money for charity.
It's going to be a great opportunity for NAIT and U of A, both to showcase their talent, and the fact that it's a charity game definitely makes it a lot more exciting.
Tickets for the game on December 9th will be on sale for $10 each. Both teams hope to see the stands filled, just as they were in '84. The Ukes men's hockey team went 2-0 this weekend in a doubleheader against MacEwan. The Ukes got things rolling near the end of the first as MacEwan's defense Tyler Morrison bobbles it coming around the net, turning it over to Jake McKittiuk, who takes a quick snapshot, burying one home for the Ukes. Then later in the second, NAIT defense Colton Waltz fires one on net from the point, sending out a massive rebound for Tanner Dunkel to secure the 2-goal lead. After scoring once more in the third to make it 3-0, head coach Tim Fraggle still had some concerns moving into the second game on the weekend.
We know when we're playing well that we do at a high pace, but you can see tonight sometimes there was some inconsistency with that, so that was really the message to the group.
The Ukes ended up winning again on the weekend with a final score of 5-2 in the second game. The Oil Kings had a tough go on Sunday against the Spokane Chiefs. Early in the first, Spokane started things off as Hudson Ellenuk forces one in from the side of the Oil Kings net. Later on in the second period now, Jared Anderson Dolan makes a tight wraparound on the left post, giving Spokane the 3-0 lead. The Chiefs then continued to press hard, scoring 3 more goals throughout the game. After the 6th goal was scored, the Oil Kings looked to stir things up as Colton Keller shed the mitts with Matt Leduc. Keller shared his thoughts on the shutout loss after the game.
But it's still not acceptable to show up, in front of our home crowd and, lose 6-0. So we got a full week to reset and get better and pick up where we left off on Friday.
The Oil Kings look to recoup for the Sunday game against the Regina Pats. Puck drop is at 4 p.m. at Rogers Place. Metro Edmonton High School football playoffs are in full swing as teams played in the quarterfinals this week. Friends, family, and fellow students all came out early this week to the Jasper Place Bowl in support of the teams competing in the quarterfinals of this year's high school football playoffs. After an undefeated regular season, the Skona Lords kicked off against the Ardrossan Bisons and secured a convincing win with a score of 41-1. The Lords will now be moving on to semifinals this weekend against the O'Leary Spartans, who bested St. FX on Monday. Other quarterfinal games played this week included Percy Page versus Holy Trinity, Austin O'Brien versus Harry Ainley, and Salisbury versus Bellarose. Teams are looking to move forward in their respective divisions as all the championship games are being played at Commonwealth Stadium for the first time. This week we had hoped to get outside and play some tennis, but because of the weather we had to stay inside and do the next best thing. All right, today I'm here with Edward Zhao. He's going to teach me how to play the game of table tennis, more commonly known as ping pong. So Ed, why don't you run me through what exactly we're going to be learning today?
So we're going to be learning about our hand position on our paddle. We're going to do some serves, and we're going to do some returning.
Okay, I'm quite a bit older than you. I'm pretty sure I could be teaching you these things. I think we should just play and see how it goes.
Okay.
What? Okay. All right. Clearly I was in over my head. It was time to give Ed's lessons a try. All right, first things first. How do I properly hold the racket?
So we'll grip it like a tennis racket.
Okay.
And then put your index and your thumb onto the racket.
Oh, I see. Okay, so that's probably why it wasn't working for me before.
Okay.
After mastering the technique of grip, it was time to move on to bigger things.
I'm gonna teach you how to do the serve.
Okay.
So you wanna...
As Ed continued to teach me, I could feel both his strength and wisdom flowing into me.
The net or above.
He taught me the ins and outs of both the serve and the return. We practiced for what seemed like days, and finally, I felt as though I was ready for a rematch. There! Oh! Well, Ed won that game 11-1, but I was able to get a point, so we definitely made some improvements. Thanks for having me out, Ed. That's it for this week's End Zone Challenge. Thanks for watching.
Well, I think we can all agree you might need a little more practice before you're on his level.
Yeah, I'm starting to think that maybe you should just stick to the editing suites.
Well, you win some and you lose a lot, but at the end of the day, we got to learn some stuff and I had some fun, so that's really all that matters.
Coming up after the break, we head down to the Ronald McDonald House.
We met families at the house and spent some quality time with the kids.
Our volunteers really help in just maintaining a really warm and welcoming environment for our families.
Boo! Do you like a little bit of a fright? Well, perfect. I've got just the thing for you coming up soon. Maybe spooky isn't really your thing? Well, don't worry. I've got you covered too. All that and more coming up soon in entertainment.
Is your lunch just a boring sandwich?
Time to be a trendsetter. Try an open-faced sandwich.
Shake up your lunch weekdays at 12:30 with the new Music Nooner, only on NR92.
NewsWatch music provided by Martin Mayer Productions.
Clothing provided by Buller Trucking.
This week in our community, we went to Ronald McDonald House to spend some time helping out.
Ronald McDonald House provides somewhere comfortable to stay for families traveling to Edmonton for their child's medical care. Their organization relies heavily on volunteer services to help make meals, give shuttle rides, and spend time with children and families.
Our volunteers really help in just maintaining a really warm and welcoming environment for our families. They're going through a difficult medical journey with their child, and it's just all part of creating a home type environment for them and making sure that they feel welcome and supported at all times.
Volunteers are needed in all areas, but volunteers in their front office and playtime services are in particularly high demand. Christmas and other holiday event volunteer opportunities will be posted on their website in the coming weeks. Do you have any plans to go out and do anything this weekend, Laura?
I actually don't have any plans this weekend, but I was hoping to maybe go to some sort of Halloween event. What do you have for us in entertainment, Jamie?
There's a lot going on this weekend. A new play will soon be opening up in Edmonton that embraces Canadian history. Rehearsals in full swing for the play Shatter. The play is based on the events that took place in Halifax in 1917. Two ships collided in the Halifax harbor, which then started a fire. The ships exploded, which caused the glass to shatter.
It was a huge Canadian tragedy. So this show takes us through the journey of a family before the tragedy and how the tragedy affects the family and kind of how it brings out tensions that have been there before the tragedy.
Shatter opens up December 6th and runs until the 16th. Tickets can be found online. Toronto's Project Humanity has crafted a new play. Freedom Singer is a documentary musical placed in the 1850s.
No more auction black.
Freedom Singer retraces the steps of co-creator Kari McClellan's great-great-great-grandmother's escape from slavery. Using hip-hop, funk, and soul music, the audience is taken back to a historical time. McClellan says that there is a lot for the audience to take away from this play.
I thought people would learn more about Canadian history, that they might have a different appreciation around what immigration and space for refugees and people fleeing tyranny means in our current context, with the parallels to the Underground Railroad.
Freedom Singer will be at the Citadel until October 29th. Tickets can be purchased online. 3 Edmonton restaurants have made it into Air Canada's En Route magazine's top new places to dine. Edmonton had the strongest presence in the top 10, with Alder Room ranking number 10. The Alder Room is a modern restaurant with its menu being inspired by the deep connection to land. Born and raised Edmontonian, Ben Staley is the owner and chef. He says he's honored that En Route recognized the unique nature of his establishment.
95% of all the ingredients that we use in the restaurant come from Saskatchewan, Alberta, BC. And the other 5% are kind of like the outliers, being like Washington, Montana. So we strictly just go for quality.
The Alder Room is located in the heart of downtown, right on Jasper Ave. The #1 ranked restaurant in Canada was named Batuto in Quebec City. The other Edmonton restaurants on the list were Clementine at number 5 and Cafe Linnea at number 6. Fort Edmonton Park is getting a little more spooky with just a hint of history. Edmonton's only live-action historical horror show is back for its 10th year. Every year, Dead Center of Town goes into a new location that has historical significance. This year at Fort Edmonton Park, the play is set in the 1920s. Dead Center of Town blends together urban lore and factual history to make a spooky historical play.
So we've sort of brought together stories from Edmonton's bygone years, sort of between the era of about 1915 and 1928, and we've paired them with traveling circus acts that you would have seen circuses perform during that time.
Playwriters hope that the audience leaves learning something about Edmonton that they may not have known. Dead Center of Town runs every day except for Mondays until October 31st. Tickets can be purchased online. Edmonton has many more Halloween activities going on this weekend, such as the Haunted Pumpkin Festival, Edmonton Haunted House, and Halloween Monsters. All of these events can be found online at todocanada.ca. I don't know about y'all, but I'm especially interested in the Edmonton House. Thank you and have a great weekend.
I've heard that Dead Center of Town is actually really scary. I don't know if I'd want to go to that.
I know, I'm not really a fan of spooky things, so I might try to steer clear from that one.
Yeah, but those plays looked really interesting. I'd love to check one of those out.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That's all we have for NAIT NewsWatch this week.
Have a great weekend.